In a sun-scorched African savanna, where brittle grass cracked under a blazing sky, a lone lion trudged through the dust. Once a king, his roar had ruled the wild, his mane a golden blaze. Now, scarred and gaunt, he was a fading shadow cast out by his pride to face hunger's cruel bite. Yet a spark of defiance gleamed in his eyes. When Ranger Jake Harper glimpsed his haunted form, a bold mission sparked him to defy nature's ruthless law. Stay tuned, because this tale's shocking twist will hit you hard. The lion moved like a wraith across the African reserve, each step a defiance of the hunger gnawing at his core. Once he had been the heart of a mighty pride, his roar a thunderbolt that froze antelopes mid-stride. His mane, a radiant crown, had gleamed under the savanna sun, a symbol of unchallenged arm. Now it was a tattered veil, sparse and matted, dulled by time's relentless grind. Scars laced his high-jagged claw marks, faded bites each a trophy from battles won, now mere echoes of a throne lost. His eyes, once fierce as a storm, flickered like a dying ember. He was a champion past his prime, fighting a war he couldn't win. The pride had led through seasons of feast and famine had betrayed him. Young males, brimming with strength, drove him out with snarls, their eyes cold as they claimed his place. Exiled, he wandered the reserve's endless plains, paws sinking into cracked earth. Muddy pools were his only solace, his worn teeth useless against fleeing prey. His roars, once a rally cry, were frail whispers, lost in the vast silence. In his mind, memories flashed, the rush of a hunt, cubs tumbling at his sky, his mate's steady gaze. Now solitude was his only companion. He paused by a thorny acacia, ribs stark against his hide, pride refusing to break even as his body faltered. Tourists in jeeps, drawn to the reserve's raw majesty, spotted the lion's gaunt silhouette against the sunset. Their hushed whispers and camera clicks carried his plight to the ranger station, where a weathered photo landed on Jake Harper's desk. At 38, Jake had swapped Yellowstone's trails for Africa's sun, chasing a purpose he couldn't name. The lion's haunted gaze hit him like a spark. Nature's brutal, he thought, but this guy's still fighting. That single image was a call he couldn't ignore, setting a mission in motion to challenge the wild's cruel rules. Jake Harper leaned over the faded photo, his jaw tight. His hazel eyes, sharp from years as a Yellowstone ranger, traced the lion's gaunt frame. He'd come to Africa seeking something, redemption maybe, or a fight worth winning. At 38, his weathered hands bore scars from a life of battles, physical and otherwise. The lion's image was a mirror of fighter down, but not out. This guy's got heart, he muttered, resolve hardening. Sarah Mwangi, his partner and a local wildlife expert, studied a map beside him. Her quick mind had saved countless animals, and she trusted Jake's instincts. Tourists saw him near the eastern ridge, she said, pointing to the dry riverbed. He's starving, not moving fast. The photo passed from a tourist camera to the station, carried urgency. We go now, Sarah said, or he's gone. They loaded their truck with medical supplies, a tranquilizer gun, and fresh meat wrapped in tarp. The reserve sprawled over thousands of acres, its trails twisting through brush and gullies. Jake drove, reading the lion's tracks like a code in even steps, faint claw marks. He's hurting bad, he said, gripping the wheel. Sarah scanned the horizon, binoculars glinting. One shot, Jake. Let's make it count. As dusk painted the sky gold, they spotted him through acacias. The lion lay slumped, head low, breath shallow. His ribs jutted like blades, fur patchy and dull. Jake's chest tightened. This wasn't a king. This was a warrior on his last stand. Sarah's hand grazed his arm. Careful. He's weak, but wild. Jake nodded, mind racing. He wasn't just saving a lion. He was challenging the wild's cold math, where the broken were left to die. They parked a safe distance, the engine's hum fading. Jake studied the lion, calculating risks. He's not running, he said softly. Sarah checked the tranquilizer gun, her movements precise, slow and steady. They stepped forward, boots crunching, hearts pounding, ready to face a king who hadn't surrendered. Jake crouched low, the meat's coppery tang thick in the air. The lion's amber eyes locked onto his, a flicker of pride cutting through exhaustion. Jake's pulse hammered, sweat beating, but he held steady, whispering, "You're not done, old man." The lion snorted, wary but drawn by hunger. Sarah stood back, tranquilizer gun ready, but Jake signaled to wait. "Trust first," he said, eyes fixed on the lion. He extended the meat, its red surface catching the fading light. The lion's gaze darted between Jake and the offering, instinct wrestling with need. Slowly, he stretched his neck, jaws trembling, and tore into the meat. His worn teeth struggled, but he swallowed with desperate focus. Jake's chest eased a lifeline. Sarah slipped in, injecting a health-supporting drug, her touch light to avoid a flinch. The lion relaxed, hunger briefly sated. Then the savanna turned hostile. A gust roared across the plain, whipping up a blinding dust cloud. The lion froze, eyes wide, muscles coiling. Jake cursed, meat slipping in his grip. "Stay with me," he shouted, voice battling the wind. Sarah sprinted to the truck, blasting the horn a sharp anchor. The lion's ears flicked, his focus snapping back. Jake dangled more meat, backing toward the cage. The lion followed, steps faltering, each one a gamble against collapse. The cage, straw-lined and open, stood as a promise of safety. Near its entrance, the lion paused, turning to Jake. Their eyes met a silent pact. Jake knelt, stroking the matted mane, fingers brushing scars. "You've got this," he murmured, voice thick. With a low huff, the lion lumbered inside, collapsing onto the straw. Sarah slammed the door, her grin wide. "We did it." Jake exhaled, shoulders sagging. They secured the latch, checking every bolt. The lion lay panting, eyes half closed but alive. They loaded the cage onto the truck, driving slowly to spare the lion pain. The savanna blurred past, its harsh beauty a contrast to the fragile life they carried. Tourists and jeeps watched, their cameras clicking, but Jake's focus stayed on the lion's breast. Sarah radioed the facility, voice crisp. "We're inbound. Vets, stand by." Jake's thoughts churned as he drove. "This isn't just a rescue," he told himself, glancing at the cage. "It's a stand for him and every part of me that's been counted out." The lion's eyes met his through the bars, steady with trust. Jake's grip tightened on the wheel, a vow sealed in silence. The care facility buzzed with urgency as Jake and Sarah wheeled the lion in. Vets swarmed, faces taut under fluorescent lights. The air smelled of Hawkins and straw. The lion, sedated, lay on a padded table, ribs stark under patchy fur. Jake stood by the door, arms crossed, while Sarah relayed field notes to Dr. Lena, the head vet. The exam was grim: malnutrition, ulcerated skin, teeth nearly gone. But as Lena shaved the lion's mane, she froze. "Jake, look." Under matted fur was a festering gash across the neck, inflamed and oozing. "Poacher's snare," Lena said, voice low. "Wire embedded years ago. It's been killing him slowly." Jake's fists clenched, anger flaring. This wasn't age. Someone marked him for death, and he kept fighting. Sarah's eyes hardened. That's why he crashed so fast. The wound had sapped his strength, turning a king into a shadow. Jake stared at the lion, now named King, his chest rising faintly. "You're tougher than they know," he thought. Lena's warning was blunt. "Surgery's risky, the infection's deep, and he's old." Sarah glanced at Jake. "He's a survivor. Your call." Jake didn't waver. "He's earned this. Do it." Lena nodded, prepping antibiotics and tools. Jake stepped outside, the night air cool. "You didn't win," he muttered to the poacher's shadows. Back inside, King's sedation held, his life in the vet's hands. Weeks passed, and King defied the odds. The infection cleared, wounds healed, and his fur grew smoother, though his mane stayed sparse. In a sanctuary enclosure, he roamed a grassy hill, free from predators and hunger. Soft meals arrived daily, and his eyes, once dim, glowed with quiet strength. Jake visited often, sitting by the fence with coffee in hand. King would shuffle over, brushing the bars with his head-o, fragile trust that hit Jake deep. You didn't need a pride, Jake thought, tracing King's scars with his gaze. You found peace. One dusk, Jake found King on a knoll, gazing at the savanna. His mane caught the breeze, scars aglow in the sunset. Not a ruler now, but a survivor. His life a testament to battles won. Jake sat nearby, the silence heavy. "You showed me something," he whispered. "The broken cans still belong." The staff doted on King, tweaking his diet, ensuring comfort. Tourists left notes at the visitor center. King's a legend. His story spread quietly among visitors, a testament to compassion's power. Jake's own scars grief, losses he didn't name, felt lighter. Saving King hadn't erased them, but it gave him clarity. One life, he thought, watching King rest, can remind you why you fight. King's gaze met his, unyielding, and Jake smiled. In this haven, a king had found rest. King's story hit me like a freight train. It's not just a lion it's fighting when the world writes you off. In a world quick to ditch the weak, Jake showed what it means to stand for something that can't. King wasn't just a survivor, he was heart, grit, proof that hope outlasts pain. I see King on that hill, scars shining, eyes alive. It's a reminder, we all hit moments where we feel broken, cast aside. But one act of heart can rewrite the end. Jake and King proved that, and it stuck with me. What's a time you saw a second chance change everything? A person, a pet, or you? Share it below. I'm reading. If King's fight hit you, smash that like button and subscribe for more stories of grit and heart. Let's keep these tales alive, because in a tough world, they're what keep us going.